Xiao gazed at the flame in his hand, the one ranked 10th on the flame rankings, and a look of excitement immediately appeared on his face. This was the first time he had successfully used the flame transformation art obtained from the lower plane. Continuing from before, as Xiaoyan's voice fell, dozens of black lights suddenly appeared across the body of the devouring evil heavenly emperor. They quickly formed a strange network of veins. The moment these black veins took shape, dozens of brilliant heavenly flames burst out from his body. Wherever the flames spread, all the hellfire was dyed in dazzling colors. But only the heavenly emperor understood. This was not simple contamination. It was fusion at the essence of flame, a kind of resonance effect. What did you do? Facing the strange changes within his body, the devouring evil heavenly emperor grew even more frenzied. He knew, if this continued, his power would be completely exhausted in less than a minute. At this moment, there were only 30 seconds left before the formation activated. "You bastard!" Completely losing his sanity, he used the remaining strength in his massive body to charge violently toward Xiaoyan's flame destruction body. At the same time, a destructive fluctuation emerged from within his body. Because Xiaoyan had used the flame transformation art to convert the hellfire into heavenly flame, some unburnt fragments of evil spirit still remained inside him. And now, he intended to detonate those fragments. Less than 10 seconds remained before the formation activated. Facing the charging heavenly emperor, Xiaoyan showed no concern. He slowly stood up. The massive flame body rapidly shrank back to normal size. Then with a casual wave, all the heavenly flames on the heavenly emperor surged outward, condensing into a heavenly flame dragon millions of meters long. 8 seconds left. The moment the flame dragon formed, it immediately coiled around the heavenly emperor, preventing him from advancing even a single step. "Explode," Xiaoyan spoke calmly. In the next instant, a dazzling light illuminated the entire black box space. The explosion of the heavenly flame dragon, combined with the self-detonation of the heavenly emperor's soul fragments, the overlapping shockwave swept across tens of millions of miles, crushing the entire space into pieces. From that moment, the aura of the devouring evil heavenly emperor completely vanished. 3 seconds left. Crack! A shattering sound rang out. Without the heavenly emperor's support, the black box space collapsed entirely. At the same time, outside the collapsing space, the massive teleportation array covering the Danling Great Region also collapsed due to his premature death. However, the battles inside the other 4 black boxes had yet to end. As Xiaoyan's figure reappeared, a cluster of violently fluctuating heavenly flame hovered in his hand. From the very beginning, he had been forcing the heavenly emperor to use hellfire, because he wanted to attempt something. Whether it works depends on this, Xiaoyan muttered. Then, he activated an unfamiliar technique once more, flame transformation reversion. As the technique from the lower plane was activated, the heavenly flame in his palm began to change. The dazzling flame gradually transformed into a deep blue color identical to hellfire. It worked. Xiaoyan's eyes lit up. The fluctuation emanating from the flame matched the intensity of the 10th-ranked flame on the flame rankings, slightly weaker than his current heavenly flame, but still immensely powerful. He flipped his hand and stored the hellfire. Although he had yet to fully refine it, controlling it was already as natural as his own heavenly flame. "I wonder how the others are doing." Xiaoyan looked toward the remaining black box spaces. Then, his figure moved, rushing toward Long Yuan's battlefield. But just as he advanced, a terrifying fluctuation suddenly entered his perception. His expression changed. His gaze followed the source. It wasn't from the other battlefields, but from directly above the sky. A massive beam of lightning, containing power at the level of a heaven supreme, descended from the heavens. Below it was one of the black box spaces, the one where Long Yuan and a lower heavenly emperor were fighting. Not good. Xiaoyan immediately realized that kind of power was far beyond what Long Yuan could unleash, which meant the attack came from outside the black box. Without hesitation, He activated the flame destruction body again. Rushing into the sky, he summoned heavenly flame, forming a massive heavy Xuan ruler, and hurled it forward. The ruler struck the lightning beam, cutting it in half. But even the remaining half still carried terrifying power. It shattered the black box space instantly. Long Yuan and the lower heavenly emperor emerged, still unaware of what had just happened. If the full attack had landed, it would have destroyed the space and severely injured both of them. However, since the black box space was linked to the heavenly emperor, the collapse triggered a backlash within him. A surge of power exploded inside his body, seriously wounding him. In that instant, Long Yuan seized the opportunity. A massive purple-gold dragon claw, carrying destructive power, slammed heavily into the heavenly emperor. The latter was sent flying like a broken-winged bird. But just as Long Yuan prepared to pursue, a hand landed on his shoulder, stopping him. He turned and saw Xiao. Confusion filled his face. "You already finished your battle." But then, he noticed the grave expression on Xiaoyan's face. "Senior Long Yuan, something's wrong. Be careful," Xiao said. His gaze shifted forward, toward the fallen heavenly emperor. Then, a horrifying scene unfolded. The heavenly emperor's head had completely vanished. Only a lifeless body remained. Clearly, it had been taken. Xiaoyan and Long Yuan both inhaled sharply. Then, their gazes turned toward the distant sky. There, a man in black robes slowly stepped out. He looked about 40 years old. In his hand, he held a black head, the heavenly emperor's head. Then, he clenched his hand. With a terrifying force, he crushed it instantly. Just like that, he erased a lower heavenly emperor from existence. As Xiaoyan and Long Yuan stared at him, the black-robed man looked back. But he didn't look at Long Yuan. His gaze locked onto Xiaoyan. After a moment, he spoke calmly. "So, you are Xiaoyan." This was undoubtedly the most helpless moment Xiaoyan had ever faced since arriving in the Great Thousand World. The gap between a lower Heaven Supreme and a perfect Heaven Supreme was simply too vast. Before such power, any resistance from Xiaoyan would be meaningless. Continuing from before, "You are Xiaoyan." The black-robed man looked at Xiaoyan and spoke indifferently. As his voice fell, 3 loud explosions suddenly echoed across the heavens. Long Yuan was shocked to see the 3 black box spaces behind Xiaoyan shattered almost simultaneously. In one of the black box spaces, the Taishu Sacred Flame Elder and Taipang rapidly retreated because someone had suddenly joined their battle. A massive black projection crossed the sky, and above the Sword King appeared. A gigantic Buddha tower, tens of thousands of jang tall. What? The Sword King's expression changed drastically. Before he could retreat, streams of refining flames like golden dragons roared out from the tower. Tens of thousands of flame dragons sealing every direction, completely trapping him within. At the same time, a piercing sound tore through the air. An old man appeared in front of the Buddha tower. With a flick of his sleeve, the tower shrank and returned to his hand. Taipang and the Taishu Sacred Flame Elder were utterly shocked. That opponent had been a mid-heaven emperor comparable to an upper heaven supreme, even though he had been injured earlier. To be suppressed so easily was simply unbelievable. That old man's strength was likely close to a perfect heaven supreme, and the appearance of the Buddha tower proved he was a super expert of the Buddha divine clan. In another shattered black box space, a mid-heaven emperor who had been fighting Dan Yu was also instantly suppressed by a newly arrived expert. This expert was a middle-aged man wielding an ancient sword. At first, Dan Yu didn't recognize him, but soon he recognized the weapon in his hand. That was the supreme divine sword of the Hunshan clan, the Hunshan sword. This was a super expert of the Hunshan clan. As Dan Yu was still shocked, the man gripped his sword and slashed down. In that instant, the entire world seemed to be torn apart. When Dan Yu regained his senses, the mid-heaven emperor had completely vanished, body and aura erased. In just a dozen breaths, 2 mid-heaven emperors and 1 lower heaven emperor, had been instantly killed by these experts from the ancient divine clans. In another black box space, the old farmer's expression turned solemn. He looked at the old man before him and narrowed his eyes, because that person was the supreme elder of the Buddha divine clan, and also the former clan leader, Qingyuan Shenting, the only person in 10,000 years who had surpassed him. "Where is Qingyuan Jing?" the supreme elder asked. "I don't know," the old farmer replied calmly. "We never interfere in the internal affairs of your 4 clans." "Don't interfere." The supreme elder's voice sank. What a fine non-interference. Meanwhile, Bai Shi stood in the distance, his face extremely ugly. The killing intent filling the heavens was suffocating, because he knew this man was a true perfect heaven supreme, one of the 13 super experts of the Great Thousand World. At this moment, Bai Shi knew he was doomed. Without hesitation, his body rapidly expanded. A violent energy fluctuation spread across the heavens. With a deafening explosion, endless black light engulfed the world. Bai Shi had self-detonated. At that moment, a black shadow shot out from the explosion. It was a fragment of Bai Shi's soul. But before it could escape, a withered hand suddenly emerged from space and grabbed it. Then, a figure slowly stepped out of the void. It was Qingyuan Shenting. "You're not going anywhere. Haha, you're still useful," he sneered, and a white jade bottle appeared in his hand. On the other side, Taipang and the Taishu sacred flame elder gathered beside Xiaoyan, watching the ancient divine clan experts cautiously. These 4 experts, each surpassed ordinary upper heaven supremes. Clearly, their status within their clans was extraordinary. Soon, after everything settled, only Qingyuan Shenting and the black-robed man stood side by side. "It seems we came a bit late. There's no trace of Qingyuan Jing within 100 million li," Qingyuan Shenting said. Hearing this, Xiaoyan and the others finally understood. These people had come for Qingyuan Jing. But then, the black-robed man said something unexpected. "Qingyuan Jing is right in front of us." He looked at Xiaoyan. "Don't forget, Xiaoyan is a plain master." Plain master. Hearing this, Qingyuan Shenting immediately turned towards Xiaoyan, facing his gaze. Xiaoyan suddenly felt time around him slow down. At the same time, a force wildly searched through his body, and his supreme see, as if looking for something. Due to the slowed time, his reaction became delayed. By the time he regained awareness, Qingyuan Shenting had already disappeared. "Xiaoyan dodge." Taipang's voice exploded in his mind. Although Xiaoyan's time had been slowed, Taipang and the others were unaffected. Upon hearing the warning, Xiaoyan immediately reacted. Even though he didn't know what Qingyuan Shenting wanted, he had a strong premonition. This would not end well. These people would stop at nothing to achieve their goals. They were perhaps the most terrifying and tyrannical bandits in the Great Thousand World. But just as Xiaoyan began to move, Qingyuan Shenting had already appeared before him. "Junior, lend me your plain embryo." As his voice fell, his palm flipped, and a Buddha tower appeared. It flew above Xiaoyan, and a golden light descended with terrifying pressure. Under this overwhelming pressure, Xiaoyan was frozen mid-air, his face filled with terror. The gap between a lower heaven supreme and a perfect heaven supreme was simply too great. Before such power, any resistance was futile. Then, Qingyuan Shenting's hand turned liquid and entered Xiaoyan's body. Seeing this, Longyuan Taipang and the Taishu sacred flame elder could no longer hold back. Their power erupted, and they charged toward Xiaoyan. On the other side, Dan Yu was stunned. He felt the ancient divine clans had gone too far. But just as he was about to help, a hand stopped him. It was the old farmer,